Hello, friends. Happy New Year. And thank you so much for joining us today, 2022. A happy new year to you and a new year for the loop. Can you believe this is actually our second year of the loop? Number 2022. That's right. Well, how time flies when you're having fun. Greenness. I guess green is the color of the month, I should say. But most importantly, Greg is bringing us all the latest in tech as we take a look at, of course, so many things happening this month and really, really special. I can't believe, Greg, we've been doing this for 2 years, but I also am going to keep you posted on all things financial and business. As you know, this is a big year for us. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, it is strange. 2022. I still, like everybody, keep writing 2021 on everything, but we are here and it is so good to be here back with another episode. First one of the new year. And thanks everybody for joining. I'm Greg Nibbler, a longtime tech reporter. And like when he said, we've got some CES trivia and news that we're going to be doing here. So I picked out some of the highlights from the Consumer Electronics Show. We'll talk all about that, but I really want to know what people think too. If you've been following along with it, what are you excited about? What are your favorite things that you've seen? Or do you have questions? Go ahead and throw those into the chat because we are live. We can interact with you live and it's going to be a lot of fun here today. So it's really good to see everybody back. But as always with this show too, we start off with some financial news from Winnie, who always keeps me up to date. I want to know what's happening in the new year. What should we know about and all of that? And you've always got it for us.
Greg, I'm just waiting for that one day where you're like, financial news is so interesting. I feel like I can't miss it. This is it, right? And that's how I feel about the tech that you bring us each and every show. But also for those of you who are joining us today, huge welcome back to the year from all of us to all of you. And do know we love to encourage you to continue to positively share and engage with us each and every show. I mean, that's sort of the heart and soul of this show, as Greg said. So I am Winnie Sun, longtime financial pro, and I'm so happy to be here live with you. So let's talk about how the market closed today, because we started with the positivity. Now we got to bring a little negativity, unfortunately. Hello, Joshua. I see you. CrossX Fire. So great. Vicky, Sadiq, thank you so much for being here. Let me tell you, so nice to see you, because yesterday I didn't see your comments, in case you were wondering. So that's what happened. But today you are here, and this is how the market closed. Unfortunately, it was a boo-hoo triple down day. The Dow closed down 170 points. NASDAQ closed down 19 points. And the S&P closed down 4 points as well. Now, if you were sort of like investing for long-term financial goals and you were buying in a little bit, you could kind of say like, well, not a good day for tech. Now, Greg might differ on that opinion on his side, but on the financial side, tech stocks didn't have such a good day. Maybe everybody was so busy waiting to hear what Greg was going to say about tech that they weren't paying attention to the markets. Maybe that's it. But either way, NASDAQ falls for a third day, and there continues to be concerns about rising interest rates because, as you remember, I told you last year that the Fed has already said that they're going to start increasing interest rates for this year. And that, of course, is to help mitigate the sky-high levels of inflation, COVIDflation, all that yucky stuff that we've been experiencing. Now, the tech-heavy NASDAQ shed more than 3% this week. That's pretty heavy considering it's only Thursday. And it's continued to underperform the S&P 500 if you're invested in that. One area that certainly looks like it's being impacted by what we just talked about is mortgage rates. So for those of you who've been kind of shuffling around, wondering if you should refinance, like the bells should be going off right now, because yes, you should be considering refinancing right now, because mortgage rates today have increased. On the 30-year mortgage, it's actually quite high to levels of 2021 levels. The other thing is on the 20 and 15 years, there's still some opportunity, but do know if you're looking to refinance or buy that new home, maybe something to look at pretty quickly, okay? Now, in other news, I thought I would share with you, and this comes from the World Health Organization. The chief of the World Health Organization has come up and talked about how why is the economy doing so poorly, as they say? Why are people not getting back to work? Why are people still worried about their jobs and whatnot? And they say a lot of that has to do with unequal distribution of vaccines, and they say that that's the biggest failure of 2021. And they're saying until more of the world gets vaccinated, we're going to continue to suffer financially, and all over the world, economies are going to continue to suffer because we can't get back to the sort of like our previous normal. And this is the goal. They're hoping in 2021, they were hoping that all countries would have at least 40% of their populations vaccinated. Unfortunately, that goal wasn't met. But now they're hoping by middle of this year, I should say, that 70% of the population will be vaccinated. So we'll see. And I thought it was interesting because when we talk about financial news, obviously it's not just about companies and what job you make and what products you sell, but also things like we're learning very, very much so, like healthcare and like COVID and pandemic and the global economy, everything's sort of intertwined. So I wanted to share with you one thing before we jump over to Greg, and that is today on LinkedIn, I actually shared a write up that McKenna Moore, editor at LinkedIn, shared. And I thought it was helpful to talk about because the article or the write up talked about that more people quit jobs than ever and had the highest turnover, not too long ago. And highest turnover ended up being in low wage work. But also, they're saying that hiring has slowed in December. So I thought that was really interesting because, especially considering that a lot of Americans have been contemplating whether they still want to work where they work, the same industry. This whole talk about the importance of work-life balance, which I'm really excited that there's more talk about that. I think we should, as humans, really sort of gravitate to something better, which is better work-life balance. Talking about the housing market and everything else, and really how this comes to play. So a lot of Americans have resigned or just completely retired early, and many more have stayed out hoping for a better future of work. So I thought I would talk about that, and I just bring that on your radar because people are discussing that. Is it because of December? Is it because are we at full employment? Is everybody working? Is that why people aren't applying and getting new jobs? Are they not transitioning? But I think there's a lot of other factors that need to come to play, and it's not just in this vacuum. So if you want to jump in that conversation, talk about the future of work, talk about your feelings of why the economy is at its state, we're also having that conversation on LinkedIn as well. So that talk of like better pay and things like that. I think people want to hear from you. So if you're around and you want to jump on that, definitely let me know and we can do that. But before this is one topic though, actually, I will share with you, Greg, that I purposely picked for you because I thought you would really enjoy this one, is that Taco Bell is launching its Taco Lovers Pass nationwide. So 30 days of tacos for $10, Greg. What do you think about that?
That's too many tacos for me. I cannot do that. Although I love the idea of that. 30 days of tacos. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sucker for a Taco Bell soft taco. I don't know what it is. I like them. I mean, I will admit this. Sauce. What's that?
I love their hot sauce. Their chilies are so good.
Oh yeah. But that is too much. I cannot do it for that much now, but can you use it for other people? Can I buy tacos for other people?
I mean, I guess you could buy the taco and hand over a taco to somebody else, but I think it's going to be based on your app. So I'm guessing unless you want to give people your log on to your app, but yeah. I mean, you can mix it up, right? CrossX Fighter talking about Taco Bell, but then, Chipotle's, just released their plant-based chorizo, I think burrito or bowl or something. That's on I mean, I guess it could be like Mexican food in January, but then I would say that I think some of you might say, well, it's kind of like American Mexican food, but it's good. But I don't know about I'm with you. I think that's just way too many tacos.
Yeah.
Even if it's only for $10.
Especially for starting off the new year. If everybody's trying to be healthier. I know that's always like the thing. It's like, yeah, gotta eat healthy, work out a lot. Nah, I'm just gonna do 30 straight days of tacos. I mean, I also appreciate anybody who is doing that. Is just saying, no, I want to eat tacos. This is what I want to do.
This is what I want to do. I mean,
They're delicious.
you can't hate it. And by the way, I
No.
gotta say, Brian Schumann is here with us on LinkedIn Live, and Brian's actually gonna be my guest tomorrow on the show. But Brian, what do you think about this? He's saying, like, do you think you would do 30 tacos for $10? Vicky is saying spicy the better. Taco Bell, I gotta say, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I really love their hot sauce. I think that stuff is good stuff. I used to collect that stuff, and like when I was in college, and I put it over everything because dorm food isn't great. So, but covered
That's
in
true.
Taco Bell hot sauce, it makes it pretty delish. Yeah. Yeah. Brian's saying taco Thursday, taco every day. Okay. Well, I mean, our show's on Thursday. I guess we
True.
could do that.
I
Taco
really
Bell,
want a
call Greg.
taco now after talking about this. I'm probably going to go get a taco after this show. But I mean, so it's worked. This worked.
I know. But the thing is, now we get to hear about what you've been working on, which I know you have been so busy because normally I'm able to send you jokes throughout the day. And I know like you're very focused right now because you're delaying on responding to my ridiculous comments. So
I know, and I apologize for that. Normally I'm right on those, but it has been kind of a crazy week. That is true. And thanks. I'm looking at all the comments. Hashtag I really want a taco now, Greg. Yeah.
Me too. Hashtag I want to talk.
That can apply really anytime. That's a fair statement of any
taco. Yeah, tacos for Christmas, tacos for Thanksgiving, tacos for Greg's birthday. Cheers to that.
All of it. Well, yeah, though it has been a crazy week, and that is because the Consumer Electronics Show is going on in Las Vegas. And normally, in a normal year, I would be down there. I elected not to go, and I don't think I was the only one. There's a lot of people that didn't. That's because of obviously what's going on with Omicron and everything else that's happening there. But they're still had the show. The show is going on right now. They're ending it a day early this year just because of some of the concerns. But there's still a lot of technology that was announced, and we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. I kind of picked out 4 things out of there, kind of 4 different categories I wanted to share with everybody. But before we do that, I had a little bit of CES trivia I wanted to put out there because it is such a huge, for anybody who doesn't know, the Consumer Electronics Show, CES.
It's bananas.
It's crazy. And it's generally speaking, the largest technology show in the world. Happens every year in the first or second week of January. And it's just an annual event.
It's in Las Vegas. It's a hot conference. I mean, for those of you who are like tech heads, I remember the first time I went, Greg, with my husband, because my husband's in IT, and he was just like so excited. And I was like, what's this going to be about? It's like, it's got something for everyone. And
everyone.
Greg, I think it stems almost entire strip of Las Vegas, like every convention, like every room, every convention center, right? And like, just goodness, millions of people, right? Is it million? I would guess it's millions. It's got to be one of the biggest conferences.
Well, that actually is part of the trivia question that I have.
Is
how many people attended? But yeah, it does. It takes up the entire Las Vegas Convention Center, which is huge. If you've ever been there, I don't even remember how much the square footage is on that. But then pretty much every hotel, at least during a normal year, also has their convention centers, their community rooms. They're all rented out for different things too, whether it's speakers or showcases. Thousands and thousands of companies are down there showing stuff. Everything from little, mom and pop kind of shops like tech stuff where somebody's created something in their garage and now they want to showcase it there, to the biggest companies in the world. So the question I had to start off with was this, and I'm going back to the CES 2020, which is the last one where everybody was in person. And I was down there for this. And my question was, how many attendees do you think CES actually has? So these are actual attendees of the event. And of note, to attend the event, you need to be a media member, somebody working for a company, or somehow in the technology industry, at least tangentially. So it's not open to the general public. But how many people do you think attended CES in 2020? So we got 4 different ones there. A, 340,000. B, 74,000 people. C, 171,000. Or D, 740,000 people attending CES 2020.
I love how you can see this. Now, Greg, let me ask you this: the behind the scenes on the trivia question. Is this this year's footage? Because it looks still like it's just.
This is some of the B-roll from this year. So this is kind of them preparing and building the sets. So that's, I guess, something too for anybody who hasn't been there. Usually the way it works is each one of these companies has a giant piece of floor space on in the Las Vegas Convention Center, and they build these extremely elaborate things to attract everybody to come in there. Like
Right.
LG, they usually have this thing called it's like a tunnel of televisions, where it's an entire constructed tunnel where it's all televisions completely surrounding you with these elaborate displays and just fancy, cool things. It's one of the funnest things to do when you go there, is just to see what each company is coming up with and how they're trying to get people in to show their new stuff. So this is kind of the behind the scenes of building it, of what happens every year for that. So that's what you're seeing with this one.
You know, Greg, what I was really surprised my first time going to CES was that I expected to be able to buy something, but you really actually can't buy, you're just there to look. All right, I'm seeing answers coming in though. Okay, Vicky is saying C, 171,000. Sadiq is saying D, 740,000. CrossX Fighter is saying A, 340,000. Brian is giving a shout out to Las Vegas Convention Center. And then Vicky is saying she fancies being a Vegas girl. I just, Vicky, I can almost hear your beautiful voice in my head. I fancy being Vegas, because that just sounds so elegant compared to the way I would say it. So I love this, Greg. Tell us, what's the answer? Who won?
So 2020, it actually was C, 171,000 attendees, and that included several thousand media members, including myself, who are down there, and then the rest are all technology industry people. But yeah, 171,000. Now that's who actually attended CES. There's also a lot of people that are in town for CES that just aren't actually attending, maybe didn't have a pass for it, but they rent out hotel rooms and luxury suites everywhere along the strip, so you can go and try out some new technology. You know, there's a lot of whining and dining that goes on. So that's probably even more beyond that, but 171,000 officially attended CES 2020.
Wow. And and it's January. So 2020 of January, it's like right before like we really started having things happen here, right? That was like the last hurrah.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows what could have been there. I mean, another thing for context too, it's pretty much every country on earth has somebody represented at CES. I mean, it's truly a global thing. So you have people flying in from all over the world that go to it on a normal year anyway.
I wonder how they're mitigating the panic. You know, I'm wondering how it affected the numbers and how they're mitigating. Obviously, to be really curious to see. And I know, Greg, that you have you had a friend that's there, right? It'd be interesting to see the difference in terms of crowds too.
Yeah, well, he's shown me some of the pictures, and the crowds, I mean, there's not crowds really this year. One of the things that I found was just, you know, surreal, but such a sign of the time. So normally when you check in and get your press pass, there's a center you go to and you get like a little gift bag or something. And this year the gift bags all had COVID tests in them. So you have your own COVID tests to take back to your hotel.
Those are hot. They're a hot commodity today.
They are, yeah.
I read that almost $100 now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gift bag, I guess, in that context. I know they were requiring everybody to be vaccinated, and you have to prove that to go into the events, and masks were required. So at least as far as some of that, but you know, you're still walking around casinos in Las Vegas, so there's some risk there, no matter how you do it. But they're trying their best to mitigate the risks on it. So we have that question. Now the next one. So again, I've got 4 questions here to kind of go through. I'm pulling them up myself to make sure I've got these right. So the next one I wanted to ask is what year did CES first start? So what year did it first start? Because this has been going on for a long time, but how long? So we've got A, 1955, B, 1967, C, 1981, or D, 2001. So what year do we think the first consumer electronics show started?
What do you think? CES, huge conference. When did it start? I mean, some of these years are before we were born. So I mean, that's a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I see some comments coming in. Let's see. Robin Stevens, I went to a TV station and that was in my gift bag, and everybody loved the free COVID test gift.
Yeah.
I know, Robin. Yeah, those are hard to come by. Yeah. And then
really
Brian is saying, can't wait to join you tomorrow as a guest on the show. You're actually my first guest for 2022. So I'm very excited. Nice. Thank you so much, Brian. Super awesome. All right. Vicky is guessing C, 1981. CrossX Fighter is C as well. Kenna is joining us from Facebook Live, and she's saying 1967 B. Sadiq is joining her, but joining from LinkedIn Live, he's saying 1967, also B. Robin is saying C. She's joining us from LinkedIn Live, C, 1981, and Sadiq is also 1967 B. B. So what is the answer, Greg?
The answer is B, 1967. So,
Whoa. Okay,
yeah,
Sadiq got it right. Let's see. Sadiq Kenna got it right. Wow,
yeah,
1967, before we were
yeah.
born.
And it's kind of an interesting story how it started because the original one was in New York City and it was a spinoff of it was the Chicago Music Show. So the Chicago Music Show used to be apparently where tech companies would go. They just kind of tied it into it and showcased their new products. And then eventually they're like, well, okay, we need our own show. And that's what happened. So they spun it off from there. And then they went through several years, or actually even more than a decade, I believe, where they'd have 2 a year, one in Las Vegas in the winter and then one in summer in Chicago or various other places until finally it got whittled down. I think it was the mid 90s, whittled down to just 1 show per year. But yeah, 1967 was the first one. So it's been going for a long,
Wow, I
long
can't
time.
believe it came from that. Like, how interesting.
Yeah.
What interesting history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Yeah, how it all started. And, like I said, a lot of companies go there every year and they showcase their concept products or the newest thing. There's been so many things that have been announced over the years that we all use. And I mean, if it's any kind of technology, it's going to show up at CES at some point, whether that's where it's debuted or not. And that's why I wanted to ask this next question. So the third one here is what year did Sony debut the first CD player at CES?
Ooh.
The CD player, compact disc player.
CD player, Greg. You're going old school on us.
Old school. Yeah.
Vintage.
So we got A, 1974, B, 1981, C, 1986, or D, 1993. When did the CD player make its first debut?
Okay, friends, this is a good one. CD player, when did it first come to CES? Let's see. I'm curious to see who gets this one right. Okay, Vicky is going D, 1993. Cross-X Fighter is going D, 1983. Yeah, let's see. Going to see who else. Greg's smiling. I feel like, I'm not even gonna try Greg because this is like not my wheelhouse of trivia. But man, but I have fond memories. I gotta tell you, I remember like how cool the CD player was, and you had like it was pretty big, but the fact that you could walk around with it and you had like your headphones plugged in, you're like kind of cool back then. That was like the thing to do. All right, Robin is saying C, 1986. Sadiq is saying 1981. B, Jack. Boom, boom, Jack. We're going to have Jack in the show very, very soon. Jack is saying Facebook Live. He is saying C, 1986. If you don't follow Jack, definitely give him a follow. A great guy. He's really active on Twitter, I know, too. And then Cross-X Fighter is saying, my sister used to have a CD player before, but it's long gone now. That thing would probably like be worth, would it be worth something, Greg? I feel like something on eBay,
It could be. Yeah, I found, I actually went home to my parents' house over Christmas and found my old Discman. So it doesn't work. Whoa. I tried to turn it on, but still it's one of the original ones, kind of. There's some version in there. That's an old reference for people who may not have CD players or had one. But the answer to this is actually B, 1981.
1981.
Yeah. So it was, this doesn't necessarily mean when it came to market. I think it was 1982 that it came out to market, but it was a big boxy CD player that you could get. And this was something that they were working on in conjunction with Philips. So it was like 2 companies working together, but this is when they first showed it. And there it is. That's what the first CD player looked like.
Looks hot.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting that general design actually stuck. Sometimes when you see concept products, or not necessarily concept, this was a working product, they change over the years, but that's generally how CD players, even the big boxy ones, ended up looking through all that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so they kind of got it right from the beginning. It was expensive.
Did you have one, Greg, or anybody, all of you who are joining us live right now? How many of you, Jack, did you have one of these at home?
Yeah, one of those original ones. I mean, I didn't. I certainly didn't. But that was this one. I was looking at some of the prices. I believe it was around $800 to get it. So it was a high ticket item. And then again, you also have to find something to play in it, because there weren't a lot of actual CDs to play. But that was when it kind of came out and then developed over the years, and obviously became a huge thing. I mean, it took over all of music there for a good couple of decades. This was how you would listen to music after tapes kind of phased out. So just kind of cool thinking about that, just all the different products over the years that have debuted at CES, and they all have some starting point, but that was Sony's right there.
And I don't know how Sadiq knows this, but so
Yeah,
he even
he's
knows the
nailing them.
model number. He knows it's a CDP 101. How do you know that, Sadiq? Seriously. But
It's an
that's awesome that you
encyclopedia of
do.
technology right there.
I know it's like CS Sadiq, but anyway, Cossack Spider says I don't have this one. Yeah, I don't have it either.
Yeah,
Even $800 is pretty steep, especially back then. That's a lot of
yeah,
money.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Right. I mean, a lot of these things, if you think about any kind of technology, usually when it first comes out, is going to be real expensive. Even talking about televisions, back when like plasmas came out and they were thousands of dollars, and it over the years that price goes down, but everything always starts off pretty expensive. All right, so the last one I've got, and this is kind of a Greg trivia question.
yeah.
And I wanted to put this out there, and I don't think Winnie knows the answer to this either. So I've been going to CES for quite a long time. So this is going to date me a bit. Back in 2009, I was at CES, and it used to be the case, and still is to somewhat, that a lot of booths or celebrity would have celebrities show up.
Mhm.
And that's kind of to get people to come to their booth, celebrities or events or things around CES. And it was very common. You'd walk around the show floor and you'd be like, oh, there's, Drew Carey
There's Greg
walking around.
Nibbler.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
There's
Just
Greg
like
Nibbler
that.
right there.
Same level.
Greg, can I get a picture?
Same level. So in 2009, though, I interviewed a celebrity, and I wanted to put this up just to see if anybody could guess which one of these four was the person that I interviewed back in 2009 out of these four. So
Okay,
was it?
let me read this for you,
Yeah, please.
because this is about you, Greg. So this is really special for now. Do you think it's A, Carrie Underwood, boom boom, B, Alex Trebek, talk about cool. I actually did his show before when I worked in TV. C,
Cool.
Bill Gates, or D, Drew Barrymore. Now, let me ask you this. Would be bonus points if someone could find a photo of Greg in this person? That would be super cool. But tell me what you think. Okay, I see Mark is saying CS looks like a big flop this year. Mark, you
Yeah.
would know, right? But also, Mark would probably be able to tell us which hotel to stay at if you were to go to CS, just as a side note, because he
Nice.
is like the points and miles maven. Okay, Crossix Spider is saying B, Alex Trebek. That'd be
Okay.
cool. Robin Stevens is saying Drew Barrymore. We love Drew Barrymore. So cool. Crossix Fighter says, I don't know this one. Crossix Fighter, I'm curious to see which of these people you are most familiar with. That would be really interesting too. Mark, give us an answer. What do you think? Who do you think Greg interviewed? I'm going to make a guess, and I don't know the answer to this, okay? But I'm going to make this guess. I'm going to eliminate first. I'm going to say it's not Bill Gates, because if it was Bill Gates, I think Greg would have like totally told me already. I don't think it was Carrie Underwood. I don't think it's Carrie Underwood. So I'm going to narrow it down to B and D. And because I feel like Drew Barrymore came out nowhere on this list, that she doesn't match to the people on this. I feel like it's Drew Barrymore. That's how I'm gonna come. That's my answer. Sadiq is saying Alex Trebek. Vicky is saying Bill Gates. Okay. All right. What, Greg, tell us, who is
Okay.
it?
All right. Well, I'll say this. C was almost the answer. I was supposed to interview Bill Gates. I had a scheduled interview with him, and it didn't end up happening. Otherwise, that one could have been the answer. But
You
the
would have
actual
told
answer
us. Yeah.
was B, Alex Trebek. And this was
That is so
because
cool.
it was so all week they had Celebrity Jeopardy being filmed on the show floor at the Las Vegas Convention Center as part of CES. So it was some kind of tie-in that they had. And every day of CES, we went over there and tried to get an interview and talk to their PR people and try to get an interview with Alex Trebek, because I'm a huge Jeopardy fan. And we got turned down until the very last day. We were getting ready to leave. We get a text, and it's like, okay, you can interview him right now. Get to the booth. So we just ran over there to the booth, got there, went through the press, like you have to sign a bunch of stuff and go into the back room, and then they just walk you out onto the set of Celebrity Jeopardy, because it was actually being filmed there. And there was Alex Trebek at his podium, and I got to interview him. And there was back in the day.
How cute.
Yeah, so that was me and Alex Trebek back then, and interviewed some other celebrities on the set as well. But that was one of the coolest moments for me, just being a big Trebek fan, RIP, and it was really, really cool to talk to him. I was so excited.
Oh my goodness. It's too bad we didn't know each other back then. I used to fill his audience. I
Man,
used to fill
yeah, no,
Jeopardy's
right?
audience. So I was seeing him pretty regularly every week. That would
Wow.
have been really fun. But yeah, he's a really, really nice guy. So that's awesome. Well, so congratulations to you on that. I gotta share a funny comment because these are so fun. So Crossix Spider is saying, "Woohoo! I'm right." He got one, and he's saying, "Carrie, Bill Gates were the ones I'm familiar with. I hardly know Alex Trebek. You know, it's okay." But
It's
this
all
is
right.
really cute. Robin says on LinkedIn Live, "Suppose it doesn't count. I was supposed to meet Brad Pitt." I know, right? I like, okay, let's plus one on the Brad Pitt. If you were to meet Brad Pitt, Robin, you got to tell me I'd like to meet Brad Pitt too. And then Vicky is saying cute photography. Yes, that looks like young Greg there.
It was,
Mhm.
yeah, young Greg. That was my buddy Bill, who was our videographer who took that picture for me. I had to get the picture. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask. I got to. So really glad I did.
Yes, you
Didn't chicken
really
out.
did. That's a definitely winner. Very cool. All right, Greg.
Yeah.
What else is happening at CES though? I
All
feel like
right.
this. Like I'm just curious. Even though it's pared down, it's got to be something, right? Mark wants to know.
Yeah, it is an odd year for CES, just like everything else, but there are still some cool tech announcements. And so I kind of picked four different things from four different categories just to show the broad range of technology that at CES and things I thought might make a good discussion. So the first one's from the automotive side of things, which the automotive industry is huge at CES. They have pretty much an entire wing just to themselves. But this is something that BMW showcased, and it's a concept. And this is called the iX Flux, I believe, is if I have the name correct on there. Let me make sure. It's a
This
lot
is
of
so
stuff.
cool.
iX Flow, excuse me. The iX Flow, and it's a car that can change colors. So you've got a way that you can just press a button, and this is in, I guess, real time. It can change like that to all these different shades of black, white, and gray.
And
And
patterns.
yeah, different patterns, different complete colors. You can change it however you want, depending on what you want to do. And their idea for this, I mean, one, the technology is kind of based on, it's called e-ink, and it's kind of based on what you have in a tablet. So this thing will be able to do that. And they said there's some practical applications, like the white would be better if it's very hot outside. The black would be better if it's very cold. So you have some kind of ergonomical things that can happen with that. But the other thing is just being able to change your car to whatever color you want based on this just at the press of a button. So I don't know if this is something I would want, but I think that the idea is pretty cool.
I think the police wouldn't be too happy about that.
Yes.
Hey, we're looking for a black vehicle. We're looking back and all of a sudden turn away.
It's so funny. I posted something like this a couple of days or yesterday, I believe. And yeah, that's one of the first comments was, well, bank robbers will like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I doubt they're going to be too stoked about it, the police side of things. But, just starting off right now, it's just that it's not into the full color side, but the technology behind it is, I think, pretty neat.
It's
I guess
super
it's,
cool.
It's still in this concept phase. So I guess the paint is very sensitive to extreme heat or cold. So they even have backup vehicles there just in case one's not working correctly. But the idea,
Greg, what if like one of the panels stops working? That look really weird.
yeah. So right. It would be really weird. I guess the technology is pretty simple on it. It doesn't take a lot. The only time it uses any power is when it just changes the color, which is really quick. So otherwise it's just latent there. It's not like draining your battery or your gas. But yeah, I think, in the future, I could definitely see a lot of use cases for this, and maybe even commercially to where you'd have something broadcasting. It might get annoying, but something, broadcasting different messages. But I think it's a cool concept. Cool for a concept.
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I really want one, Greg. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's an electric vehicle, which is really cool too. But the fact that I would, when I saw this, when you shared this, I was thinking, wow, that'd be super cool. If it changed not only black and white, but different colors, you could change it with your outfit. And
Yep.
like it really showed your personality with your car.
Yep. Definitely. So, some point, again, a lot of concepts at CES. This could be something that we could be driving around, having the ability to change the color of your car on a whim. So kind of cool. I thought that one was pretty neat. So that's one thing from the automotive side. And going along here and talking about, some other things that were shown at this CES, we have to go to the foldable devices. Now, We all know foldable phones, and I mean the screen that actually folds. That's been something that we've seen the last few years from Samsung, and there's others that are in that market right now too. And Samsung brought a few concept devices along with them, and these are what some of them are. So there's a phone that would be a trifold that you could have, and I believe TCL has one that's kind of like that too. You've got these
tablet.
Yeah, so you can fold it out in 3 different ways instead of just in half or opening it up. 3 ways you can fold that thing. So that's one of the ones that they're showing. I like how it, even with 3 folds, does still seem fairly compact. Now this one has a screen that comes out of the side. Whoa. So if you're using your phone, you're like, I need a little extra screen space, and it just rolls out. So that one was kind of cool. This is a laptop that's just a screen. So it can fold into either a 13-inch laptop or a 17-inch wide. And so you can use it, each side for whatever you want, but then folds down and it's just a normal laptop. It eliminates the need for a keyboard because you can use the other half as a keyboard. But that's another one that they're saying that this could really be something cool. There's Asus, I believe, also had one like this, and probably a couple of other companies. But, utilizing that foldable technology.
But what about weight, Greg? How much is this going to weigh? It's going to weigh more than a typical phone or a laptop, or what do you think?
I don't believe so, because the screen itself shouldn't weigh that much more. What I would worry more about is durability. How many times can you fold this? Because we saw this with some of the first foldable phones that came out, especially. There were issues where you get a crease in the middle, or it would start wearing out. So that, I think, is one of the big parts of it. This one with the slidable thing, at first I was like, well, that's not that impressive, but I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea where you can just pop that out and use that extra screen, or have your normal regular sized phone.
Yeah, I think that's nice. It's kind of like,
cool anyway.
the touchpad on the laptop. It can be pretty helpful once you get used to it. I mean, I feel like, Greg, you're going to get one of these as soon as they come out.
Yeah, I've been wanting the Flip, the Galaxy Z Flip. I like the idea of the flip phone, which is, it's a little simpler, but I really, I miss closing a phone, so having that, just that sound, just the action of doing it. So I kind of like the Flip, but this, there's just something about it. But this one here, yeah, with where it pops out on the side, I think that's something I would be really interested in trying out. I also like this laptop idea. I like the idea of having, you can use it for so many different things. You can have it for so many different things that you want to do. So I do
love that. I love that the cell phone tablet combination. I mean, think about how convenient, right? So, like, for example, oftentimes when you're traveling for business, you got to bring your phone, you got to bring your tablet, maybe you got to bring your laptop. But to have everything in one, hopefully you never lose that one thing. But it's nice
don't
to
crack that screen.
Lighter. Yeah, look how small that phone is. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, pretty interesting, just seeing, what they're looking at and what they think that people may want. And that's part of CES too. Sometimes these products will never actually get made, but they're showing what they can do, and then they'll see what the interest is, and then kind of go down that. Let's see, does that laptop have a drawing stylus? I'm not sure. I would bet it does, but I'm not entirely sure. Samsung does have their stylus, so I would be surprised if it didn't work with it.
I saw one of the things that they were showing earlier that had a stylus on the right.
Yeah.
On this looping video that we're showing.
On one of them on there. Yeah. Yeah. I would bet they incorporate that in. That seems like that would make sense.
There you go.
Just having, one device that can do a whole bunch of things.
That's cool.
Yeah. Interesting stuff that they're showcasing.
But you're right, Greg. I mean, who knows? Hopefully it doesn't make that little fold thing. I think that would be really annoying, though. If you spend a bunch of money and it had like a line.
Right. Yeah. And they seem to have worked the kinks out on a lot of that over the different iterations of foldable phones that they've come out with. But just like any technology, usually the first generation, it's going to be a little clunky sometimes, because it just hasn't really been used. No matter how much they test it, until you get it in the hands of actual people using it, you don't know everything that could go wrong. So they work on that, make it better. So it looks like, maybe they're figuring some of that out on getting rid of that crease in the fold on there. But that was something that I just wanted to show. So there's a lot of companies, again, that's just a little sampling. There's a lot of companies working on that technology and display technology that you can take a look at and kind of go down that rabbit hole. The couple other things I wanted to highlight. So again, talking about how there's so many different categories and departments at CES for all kinds of different technology. But one that I'm always interested in is the medical side, or health technology, ways that, you can help people out, that improve lives. And this next one may seem like okay, that's kind of an odd one to highlight, but I thought it was pretty cool. And it's rethinking the wheelchair, rethinking
Ooh.
how that works and making it something that's just better for everyone and using technology to improve upon that. So this is from a company called Will, and this is the Model F. They're calling it a foldable personal EV. So they're not saying necessarily it's just for being a wheelchair, but that's probably a lot of what it would be, is for mobility issues. But the way they developed it, it's very light. So it really does fold up quite small. And you got to think, if you're traveling around, that would certainly be a huge advantage, that you can fold this thing up whenever you want. You can use it in a couple of different ways, as kind of a walker or a wheelchair, but also the technology built into it. So it's battery powered. You've got a touchscreen display that shows how much battery life you've got left, how it's being utilized. You control it with a touchpad, but it also has a phone app that pairs with it, so you can control it remotely. So say it's sitting across the room, you want it to come to you, just zoom it on over. You
So
can have
cool.
you can have it come to you, which really, for anybody who does have mobility issues, that's just a huge advantage, I would think, to be able to do that, and a little bit more independence, if you will, to be able to bring that over. You can also lock it remotely. So if you want to park it somewhere, lock it so nobody can wheel off with it, then that's something you can do too. But it's, again, just
That's
rethinking
beautiful.
things, to make things better for people.
I wonder how small it folds too, because it'd be really nice, I think, if it could fold as small to do like carry-on luggage, right? I
Yeah.
would imagine.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
it does fold down pretty small. I don't know if it would count as a carry-on or not.
It almost
But
looks like a nine-bot. It looks so Segway-y.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they put in a lot of, modular things in there, so you can adjust it how you want. But yeah, pretty cool. I thought, just kind of rethinking that, and in different ways that technology can help people, just
That's great.
improve things. And
Mhm.
so that one was pretty cool. There's also a lot of other things that came out that I would highly encourage everybody to take a look at for different health wearables. There's a lot of rings actually that were shown that can monitor all the things that like a smartwatch does, but then add in, really just make it very small. So it's just a ring that you wear and gives you all kinds of different health information and different things that you can show with your doctor or whoever to kind of monitor your health. And that's just another entire wing of CES that I really love seeing how much it's grown over the years. So that I thought was pretty cool. So we've got that one. The final one, I mean, it wouldn't be me talking about CES if I didn't bring up robots. There are always robots at CES. They're always there. There's so many different versions and kinds and different ways you see them. This is one that probably a lot of people have seen this video already, but this was at CES, and I don't think we've talked about it here on The Loop, really. So I wanted to bring it up. And this is from a company called Engineered Arts. It's called Amica, I believe is how you say it. And this is their robot that they've come up with. But the big thing here is that facial expression. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie. I think for some people, this is incredible. For some people, it might creep them out. I think it's a little bit of both, but it's really adding in that kind of human-like characteristics into the robotics. And this is how they feel the future will work. This one is really kind of crazy. If you watch this, so he's going to kind of bop the nose there, and you can see the robot like backing up and realizing, even the expression,
Crazy.
And and
Greg,
grabbing the hand.
Isn't this the one where they were trying to get people to volunteer their face?
No, that's a different company called
Oh, looks
Promobot.
similar.
Yeah,
We talk a lot about robots on the show.
we do. I know, it's my fault. No, Promobot's the one they want to buy the rights to somebody's face.
Oh, that's right.
This one they're building their own.
You see how they're like gonna, she I'm saying she because it looks like she was gonna grab your hand. That was crazy.
Yeah, and just
that disturbing.
I think it's the spatial awareness that's going on with it, combined with the human-like look with the expressions. And they've talked about that's really what they wanted to build in. They wanted to make it more approachable, or something that's more acceptable. If again, I still think it's a little bit creepy and a lot cool at the same time. But this is where this isn't a robot you're going to be able to buy, but what their idea here is incorporating it all into this one unit that would eventually be like a service robot that you could have, maybe in a commercial space or even at home, all working towards that butler robot that can do some things around home. But that's what they're looking at. And yeah, as Sadiq just said, so natural. And I think that's one of the things that's pretty impressive of how they did it. So they it's very complex on how they did it, but they took a lot of models of what people did with their expressions and then built those into different algorithms to have it respond to different things using expressions that a human would do.
Robin says, I like robots that have attitude.
Yeah, this robot has attitude.
This robot has attitude. I would prefer a robot that has good cleaning skills.
Yeah, me too.
Attitude is fine too.
Yeah. I want a robot that will clean my roof.
Yeah, so clean the room, vacuum, wash the dishes, put the dishes away.
That's where we're heading. I mean, and there again, this is just one. I wanted to show this just because of that facial expression is so impressive. But there are so many different robots that are showcased at CES, and a lot of them are that they don't all look like this. A lot of them are more just kind of functional. It could be just a big box, but different ways that they can be used to do stuff that either could be dangerous for humans, or maybe it's things that we just don't want to do, but also going along the lines of, improving lives too. There's a lot of possibilities there to help somebody out at home who maybe has some mobility issues or has some different things going on, that these robots could fulfill some of those duties and handle some of that. But again, robots are big there. So if you are interested in that side of things, there is a lot out there to look at. We could do 3 hours of just robots, but I know that's not what anybody wants, so I'm not going to do that.
No, but we love this. Great. This is so helpful. And I'm so excited to see you talk about this robot, as well as where you were talking about that sort of next level wheelchair, because it's so true. I think using technology to help more people is definitely a beautiful thing.
It really is, and ultimately that's, I mean, I love technology for all kinds of reasons, for entertainment or for just fun stuff. But if you're really helping someone, I think that's kind of ultimately the best use case of technology is something that can improve someone's life or help someone out. And again, there's a lot of health technology and medical technology that was showcased at CES and will be throughout the years, but it gives us an idea of where things are going. And that's, for me, what CES, a lot of it is, some of these may be products you can buy, but it's more a showcase of where we can go, what people are working on, and what the future could hold for tech in the best way possible. There's also, you can see things going the other way too, but it just gives us an idea of where companies are at, what all these talented people are working on, what they're trying to build. And that's where a lot of the fun of it is for me. It's just seeing that, the being able to just have that little bit of wonder looking at tech and being like, oh, that's really cool. How did they do that? What else can you do with it? That's always the exciting thing for me.
Yeah, I can tell you miss CES. Greg,
I do.
Hope you get
very
to go
much. I really miss being down there for it. It seems like this year, a lot of companies did back out, so there wasn't quite that same experience of just walking around the show floor and just seeing a random booth and being like, what are these people doing? What do you have here? And everybody's willing to talk and show what they're working on. So hopefully, maybe CES 2023 will
hopefully 2023, and hopefully you get to go to a conference where they don't give vaccination.
Where it's not necessary.
Swag bag. Go back to the cool tech, right?
Some cool phones. I want that, not just COVID tests, but
cool phone, cool t-shirts. We'll get this back to the old swag again.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where we're at now. And so, it's continuing on. It is ending a day early, but all of these announcements are out there from all these companies and just a lot of stuff to explore and have fun with. And this is some of these things we'll be talking about for months, if not longer than that. So pretty cool stuff. So that's what I wanted to show, was just a few of the highlights. Again, there's thousands of companies that are there. I mean, I think it was at CES 2020 was like almost 5,000 companies. I would imagine it's around that or bigger now, even if it's just virtually, of companies that are participating. So it's so many different things to find out about. It's a lot of fun. But there we go. That's what I wanted to show.
Amazing. Well, hopefully we get to go, because that looks like super fun. And I think it'd be really, really fun. Imagine when we can do this all again. What we should do, Greg, is we should do it in the loop live, like where we all meet you at CES, and then we kind of follow you, and you do all this thing in the person. That'd be super fun, right?
Love that idea.
Let's make that a goal of the future. Maybe in the future, what we'll do live at CES, loop in live with all of you. So that'd be super cool.
That would be so cool. We could walk around the show floor, take a look at everything, and just have fun and get the actual experience. I'm 100% about that. We'll set that as a goal for
That
2023
would be cool.
if we
Vicky
can.
says it'll be fun. Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
hope that
Yeah.
let's just make sure though. We should definitely do it a year where they're not giving out COVID tests
Yeah.
for
Right.
buybacks. It will be a year where we can actually truly
Like have fun. Yeah. And go
have
talk
fun.
to people. That's
Yeah.
the other part of it too, is just meeting so many people, because you do have everybody from all around the world. So you get to talk to really interesting people and find out what they're doing wherever
Make
they're
new
from.
friends.
Yeah, make new friends. I mean, that's another huge bonus of it. So hopefully we'll get that back to normal soon, just like everything else. But regardless, it is still a lot of fun, and it's always fun being here on this show with everyone. And it's so nice, starting this year off 2022 with everybody who's watching live and commenting and sharing and letting us know what you think about everything. I just want to say, how much we appreciate all of you joining us and being a part of this, and how much I appreciate Winnie as well. Winnie is so good to be here.
Thank you, my friend. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to all our friends here. It wouldn't be the same without you, and I'm so glad. Can you believe, Greg? It feels like we've been doing. When you hear it this way, it sounds like we've been doing it a long time. Second year of In the Loop.
Second year, yeah. 2021's in the archives now. So.
It's so legit. Well, thank you so much, and definitely be well. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll definitely be back, and I'm sure there'll be more information and more. And if you have any other insight, if you get more footage that you see from CES, you have questions on it, definitely reach out to Greg. I'm sure I always love hearing his insight on it. I actually sent him the article on BMW because I was really hoping to get his feedback on how cool that tech would be. So thank you so much for doing that, because I would really I don't know what to think. I'll wait till see what Greg says.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and everybody's got opinions, and that's the other fun thing too. Whether you like something, don't like it, or feel it's good or not, it's just fun to talk about it, fun to discuss. And that's why it's great being here with all of you. And like Winnie said, we'll be back, with another show and continuing on, but feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or cool things you want to share with me. I always like that too. There's so much going on. I can't keep up with all of it. So I always love everybody sending me links or articles or here's something really cool I found. That's really cool too.
Yes.
So. All right.
Be well.
I think that's it.
Yes. Yeah. Stay well. We'll see you soon. Don't forget to share our show with people that you love.
Yeah, please. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.